welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And on this week's episode, we're going to be answering some Reddit questions, doing at least one Am I the Asshole, and then just catching up real quick. So, Sarah, you want to jump in and catch up real quick and see how things are going?
Sure.
So, how are things going, Sarah?
Well, I just got my new dental insurance card. Dental and vision, I should say.
That's exciting. Oh, I keep forgetting. I haven't sent you that phone yet. It's literally sitting right there, like right there.
Yeah, is it sitting right there?
Yes. Can you do me a favor after we finish? Can you message me your address that you want it sent to there? And
Yes.
I will, while I'm doing stuff tomorrow, go out and make sure I get it sent off.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Sorry, brain. Work was a little crazy there at the end.
No. What happened?
So I work for a massage place, and we are constantly having to like update our schedules, because it's a very people heavy industry, and stuff happens to people. So like people aren't always able to come in because their kid's sick or they're sick or something's wrong with the car, that kind of thing. So anyway, so we just recently had to deal with having to reschedule a bunch of people because of that, because of health issues. And then one of the therapists changed her availability starting September. And so I was going through and I was going based off of her new availability, trying to figure out how many appointments we're going to have to get rescheduled and rebooked. The answer is 140.
Ew.
So.
And do you have to do that or?
Yeah. So
Gross.
we're the ones who have to get in contact with the clients and explain the situation to them.
Is there another massage person that can take care of it?
Some of the appointments probably could be switched over to somebody else, but there are several people who have multiple appointments because they're regulars.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to move all of their appointments.
I have to sneeze.
And then he doesn't sneeze. Doesn't deliver on the goods.
It went away. Now I feel it's like that. It's the worst thing in the world to ever happen to.
It's the worst fucking thing in the world. It's literally awful. So anyway, but other than the fact that we're gonna have to go through and get in contact with all those people and change all those appointments, everything's fine. Everything's dandy.
Yeah. How are you dealing with having the house kind of to yourself now for the little bit?
I'm doing pretty okay.
That's good.
Though I will say that one of them has been around, not like staying here,
Yeah.
but coming in to do things.
Weird.
And
isn't the other one in Indiana? Didn't one of them go to Indiana?
Yes.
So it's the one that's okay. That's dumb.
Yeah. So anyway, but I'm so mad. I got a little delayed getting to you so that we could start recording, because I went to go get my laundry from the dryer and somebody had put my clean clothes on top of the dirty, broken down car that is in the garage.
Ew. Rude.
So
I wasn't even touching. Why were they even touching your clothes?
I guess they needed the dryer.
Don't touch my stuff.
I'm like, there's room on top of the dryer for my things.
Or
I
just
even
take
have
them
like a
inside
little
and
basket,
put them by your door.
right? I'm
I
like,
don't
anywho,
See, these are the reasons that I can never share a living space with someone that I'm not in a relationship with. Because I tried it with Sarah and it was just, ugh. I wanted to smother her with a pillow every single day.
that is not accurate. Liar McLiarson.
No, it wasn't. Well, at least you have it kind of the house kind of to yourself. That's a plus, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's just me and Miguel,
Hola, Miguel.
and he's usually at work. So
Well, my day was fine. Yesterday I thought I was going to have to fight with people at the dealership while I was getting my car worked on.
yes, tell them the story.
So my car, there was something wrong with my car, and I think I talked about it on the last episode where whenever I would press on the accelerator, the car wouldn't have very much power, and then it would make like this roaring noise. So I took it in and dropped it off, and I got a message that had, so the way that the dealership does it is they send you a text message with a link or an email with a link that tells you kind of what their diagnosis is, and then it like gives you a cost breakdown. And they said it was a cracked transmission mount and a cracked motor mount, which I had just had the motor mount replaced, so I was like, I'm not paying for that.
Right.
But I can understand having to pay for the cracked motor mount or the transmission mount. And he said it was like basically cracked in half. I don't know how that happens. I don't really understand it, but whatever, I'll pay for it. And the price,
I also don't know how that happens.
Yeah. And the price, including the motor mount and the transmission mount, was $355 and some change. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I approved it. Clicked approved, signed it, and sent it on. But then I had him call me because I was like, I also don't need the motor. I'm not paying for the motor mount because it was just replaced in December. So I'm not paying for it again. So he agreed to that. And then it was like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later, he called and he was like, okay, I just got done test driving your car. It's running fine. It looks good. I was like, okay, cool. So I'll be in there a little bit later to pick it up. Went to go pick it up, and there's this, I walk in, the guy that I usually deal with isn't there. So there's this other guy just standing there, and they don't do this thing where they greet you when you walk in. They just stand there and they continue to work. So he goes, I'm here to pick up my car. Do I go over there? He goes, yeah, you should just go over there. So I went over there to like the little section where this person is behind like a wall.
Right.
And I am standing in line because there's a person there, and then someone gets behind me. And then some other dude comes in, and the guy that was standing at the desk starts talking to him, and then he walks him over and then starts checking him out at the thing. And by this time, the person that was in front of me had paid and got their car or got their keys and left. And I get up there, and the girl pulls out the bill, and she goes, okay, it's $570 some. I was like, that's not what I approved. That's like, that technically is like $200 more than I approved. And she goes, well, that's just what I have. And the guy is just standing there talking to this guy, and he looks over, they both look over, and I'm like, this isn't what I approved. I need you to figure this out. And he like stops talking to this guy, and he goes, sorry, let me deal with this. And I was like, okay, this is how we're going to take it. So I said, this isn't what I approved. And then when I pulled it up, it had changed online. And it is now like, it said now $700 and some. And I was like, this is not what it was when I approved it. You should have a record of what it was when I signed off on it. And it was $355 and some change. And he goes, okay, well, let's go over here. So we walked away from the like the point of sale counter, and walked over and stood, and he looked at it and he goes, well, it looks like the part alone is $200, and then the labor is like $260. And I go, okay, that's not my problem. I know what I was quoted and what I approved, and this isn't what I approved. If he didn't include the labor in the quote, that's not my problem. Like,
Right.
I'm fine with paying more than what I had signed off on. I understand that, but I'm not paying $200 more than what I signed off on.
Right.
And he goes, okay, well, he's not here, so let me text him. So he texts the guy, and we're standing there for like maybe 10 minutes. And then the guy calls him, and he goes, and he was like talking to him, and then he gets off the phone and he goes, okay, so we went ahead and changed it. It's now $360 something. I'm like, that I'll pay. Like, that's fine. So I paid for it, got my car, and left. And I was like, so the moral of the story is if someone is trying to tell you that you have to do something or pay more than what you had signed off on or what you were told, first of all, if there's an option at the bottom when you sign off on it that says save as PDF, do it, because I didn't, and I completely regretted it in the moment, because I was like, I've worked with them before, there's never been an issue. So make sure you save it as PDF if you have that, and then if they are saying that it's going to cost more than what they had quoted you, and they can't give you a good enough reason to why it's costing more than what they quoted you, push back on it, because it will more than likely, if you do it tactfully enough and you're not an asshole about it, then they'll more than likely make an exception. And I'm a good customer of them, because this is like the 6th time I've had to take my car in.
I was gonna say, you have had to take your car in a lot.
Yeah, and like the last time I spent like almost $3,000 there. So I'm like, I'm a good customer. I never make a big fuss. Anything you tell me that needs to be fixed, I usually say, sure, go ahead, do it. So I don't just fix it. And they did. So that was nice. And then tomorrow, I am going to go test drive a Ford Mustang Mach-E.
Nice.
And potentially trade my car in on a Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's a 2022, so it's not brand new, but it has 11,000 miles on it.
That's not bad.
And it has everything that I want in it. I did, while my car was kind of in limbo, because I didn't want to drive it all the way to Quincy, I rented a Tesla Model 3, and through Turo, I think it's Turo, Turo. It's the first time I've used them, and it was a pretty easy transaction. I had to belch, sorry. But so I found out that I don't like Tesla Model 3s, at least, because every time I got into the car, I like hit my head almost, or I did hit my head. And in order to comfortably get in and out of the car every time, I would have to move the steering wheel all the way to the back position, like pushed it in.
Oh, yeah.
And then like basically pretzel myself out of the car. It was not
just
fun.
Picturing you like it in chapter 1 when he's coming out of the refrigerator. That's just kind of how I imagine you coming out of the
That's basically how it happened every freaking time. That's a good comparison, Sarah. I sign off on that comparison. But it was just like, so that part sucked, but the way that it drove and like all of the autopilot feature, I used it a couple times. It was nice. It was fun, and it drove really well. But if I can't comfortably get in and out of the car, then I'm not buying. I'm not getting one.
Right. That makes
and I
sense.
never really thought I would ever get a Tesla Model 3. If anything, it would be the Y or the S. And I've kind of moved away from the X because the Falcon wing doors, or whatever it was called, and that's more of a gimmick to me, and they break more than it would be feasible to have the car. So it
Mm.
would either have been the Tesla Model Y or the S that I would have gotten. But I think I'm kind of over it anyways because they don't have Apple CarPlay, and driving that with just Bluetooth sucked.
I bet.
So I didn't like that. And I have a stuffy nose. I don't know what's going on.
Well, stop that.
Right? Mine was just a bunch of bitching today, and then some exciting news about maybe I'm potentially getting a different car and an electric car.
Yay!
So
I miss having a car.
I love it. I don't think I could live without a car.
I
Well,
managed, but as soon as I've realized as soon as my school loans come in, I'm buying a bike. Because like I have to have some kind of mode of transportation besides having to take a lift.
you should get an electric bike.
Get an electric bike. Those are expensive.
Yeah, like $600. Yeah.
Like there's some that Walmart has that are $1,000. I'm like, I'm not paying $1,000 for a bike. I already don't like paying $300 for a bike.
Well, you want to jump into some Reddit questions?
Yeah, sure.
So
go for
I
it.
have general questions. So there's nothing crazy. There's one that I think is kind of funny. The first one I want to look at is, what minor inconvenience makes you go absolutely berserk?
What minor inconvenience makes me go absolutely berserk?
Yeah.
Oh my God. People walking slow.
And this
At the
is coming
grocery
from someone that's
store.
like 5 foot tall.
Listen. I spent all of our high school years keeping up with your tall ass.
Yeah.
I have learned to walk fast.
Yeah.
And then when I get stuck behind somebody at the grocery store who is not walking fast enough and they're blocking the way, like,
I think that might be one of them for me too, because it's like, if you're okay, maybe not so much that, but people just being like completely oblivious to their surroundings, completely
Yeah.
annoying. If you are going to like the meat counter and you leave your cart in the middle of the walkway to go walk over to the meat counter, I'm going to push your cart to the other side of the store.
like just take the goddamn cart with you.
Yeah. Take the cart with you. Or here's a cool thing, maybe not get a cart if you're not going to put a bunch of shit in it.
Right.
But
Like
it's just
grab
like,
a basket or just carry it all yourself.
yeah. And then they just stand there and they look. It's like, find some meat that you like, grab it, and get out of the way. You shouldn't have to ponder over meat for 5 minutes.
Right.
Get it and go.
Most people know what they want when they go up there.
You would think, yeah.
Like, you don't have to spend 10 minutes staring at it trying to figure out which meat is the best meat. Like,
No. It's just like, look for one that looks good. And maybe they're looking at the price and like, oh, that's a little bit too much. And then they move on to another one. But it's like, come on, get out of the way. Just move. Ryan does it, and it drives me absolutely nuts. And I'm just like, for our sanity and for me not to murder you, I'm going to need to not go to the grocery store with you anymore.
I usually, if I don't know what I want, I'm not approaching the counter.
Yeah.
I'm looking from a distance.
Yes. So that was fun. And then what are some things that would help unify society as a whole?
That would help unify society?
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
A lack of poverty?
There's 2 answers that someone has written in. The first person, there's 2 people that have responded. The first person says a threat or common enemy. And then the next person says nuclear war where everyone dies. I mean,
Not just some of us, but all of us are going to perish. Well,
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, honestly, I don't think that's a unifying enough cause.
I don't honestly, in the current society the way it is, I don't think there's anything that can unify everyone. Like if children being murdered by someone at like while they're at school doesn't unify you against something, then nothing will.
Yeah. But maybe if the rest of the world unified against us.
Maybe. So honestly, to me, this question doesn't have an answer, because if something as crazy as schools being shot up and children dying in schools where they're supposed to be safe doesn't unify the society against something, then I don't know what would.
Like ending child hunger, child food insecurity isn't enough to unify people, because there are people out there who still think that children should have to pay to eat at a place they're required to be.
No. And that we're paying too much for the people to eat their food. Like, calm down.
Yeah,
So the next question is, what's your version of I did not care for The Godfather? So something that's supposed to be like super iconic that you're just like, I don't really care for it.
Oh, like, something that you don't like.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super iconic. I didn't like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, but that's because I'm not a fan of that, like, you start at a certain time point and then you like jump around. I like from my stories to be linear and go from A to B.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't mind if my stories jump around. But I just the only part of that movie I thought was remotely interesting and or fun was Samuel L. Jackson. And honestly, the rest of it I could have done without.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it just got overhyped for me too, because everybody was like, "Oh my god, it's such an amazing movie. It's so good." Blah blah blah.
All right. What's the best game to play with your family?
Wait, you didn't answer the last question.
It's because I don't have an answer. I don't like mayonnaise. I'll say that. I hate mayonnaise.
Okay.
And ranch. I hate ranch. I'm not a huge ranch person.
Okay, so as far as ranch on pizza goes, you're against.
I don't like ranch on pizza, no. I find that disgusting. And if you have to put ranch on your pizza, then you should probably just throw your pizza away.
See, I feel similarly, but there's so many people I know, including Nick, who are like, yeah, no, ranch with pizza. And I'm just like, what?
If your pizza is that bad that you need to drown it in ranch or put ranch on it, then you're getting the wrong pizza. The pizza toppings should already be on there, and that should make that bearable. You shouldn't have to put freaking ranch on your pizza to make it palatable. Come on, people. Get better pizza.
Me of when we were in high school and I would put grapes on the pizza.
Ew.
Because that was the only way that it was edible. It tasted awful otherwise.
Well, yeah, but that's just because it was high school pizza. So I never got the pizza in high school.
Well,
moving on.
What's
what's the best game to play with your family?
Best game to play with your family?
Not Monopoly.
Not Monopoly.
Because it's way too long, and two, it's very. If your family is very competitive, someone might die by the end of it.
Yeah, that is correct. My family, back when we used to play family games, our go-to was always Clue.
Oh yeah, Clue's a good one.
But if we're talking about like my all-time favorite board game that if I had kids we would be playing, that would be Scattergories.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fun.
I love that game. I remember playing that game with my Aunt Peggy and my brother when we were younger. Oh my
Yeah.
god, my favorite thing.
While it's still kind of as divisive and maddening as Monopoly, I would say Uno.
I knew you were gonna say Uno.
Uno is a fun game to play with your family. Or Skip-Bo.
I've never played Skip-Bo.
It's fun, but it's got a lot of, if I'm thinking of the right one, I might not be thinking of the right one, but I think it's fun. We used to play it all the time with my family.
I used to know how to play Rook, which was fun.
No, I've never known how to do that.
I always wanted to learn how to play euchre, but I guess that's not going to happen now because I don't live in Indiana anymore. And the only people I know who play euchre live in Indiana.
No. I mean, if I'm thinking like board game, I'm trying to think of a board game that I liked. Not Chutes and Ladders. Yeah, Chutes and Ladders. It's a fun board game. I mean, it's kind of a kid's game, but
I still like to play Candyland.
Okay, yeah.
I had a Candyland board game before I moved to Texas.
If you want to get weird with your family, play
Cards Against Humanity.
No. I mean, yeah, but gosh, now I can't even think of what it's called. Twister. You want to get weird with your family. If you live in West Virginia, play Twister. That's terrible.
If you live anywhere where they make jokes about families loving each other a little too much, that's probably the game for you. No, I just immediately went to Cards Against Humanity because that's.
I mean, that might be fun to play with your family depending on your family.
That's true. It does depend on your family.
So the next one is, in your opinion, what actor or actress do you think is overrated?
What actor or actress do I think is overrated? I don't really like hold on, wait. I want to make sure that I'm saying her name right before I say I don't like her.
Marion Cotillard.
Rachel McAdams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't think I've liked her really in anything I've seen her in, and now that I'm like really thinking about it, I don't think I've ever. That's not true. I liked Mean Girls, but I liked Mean Girls because of Lindsay Lohan, not because of
Rachel
McAdams.
I'm trying to think. So, I mean, for me, the actress would be, you really shouldn't even call her an actress, but, oh my gosh, Jennifer Lopez. Like, she shouldn't be acting. She can't act.
That's fair. I'm not gonna.
She's already in way too many movies. She doesn't need to be anymore. She can barely sing. Come for me, people. Come for me.
I don't. Honestly, though, I think a whole bunch of Selena fans just went, yes.
Possibly, yeah. All right. What's a sham that society is forced to comply with?
Gender
roles, yeah. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Gender roles.
Yeah, I'm just gender is all like the whole thing. You know what else is a fucking scam though? Capitalism
and religion. Somebody put religion in there too. Yeah, capitalism.
Gender.
I think capitalism has gotten out of control. There's something something around capitalism that has the potential to be good, but it's gotten out of control.
Technically speaking, all of the things that we have, like communism, socialism, anarchism, all of it works on paper, but none of it works in practice because of human beings.
Yeah. Because humans are garbage.
So, like,
Humans are garbage.
humans are garbage. But see, I guess when I say capitalism, I primarily mean the late stage capitalism that
Yeah.
we're in, where, you know, people are dying because they can't afford their medication, or, you know, how there's millions of empty homes and, you know, millions of homeless people who could have a home, you know, or like the whole billionaire thing where literally the people who have the most money could literally fix all the world's problems and choose not to, even though
Yeah.
they literally can't spend all of that in their lifetime.
Well, I think that's more greed than anything.
Yeah, but like that's that capitalist mindset though of, well, I earned this, quote unquote, you know, why can't you just earn $1 billion?
I think the richest woman is actually she inherited it, or she got it from her husband.
Yeah, almost everybody who's rich inherited it, but
Yeah,
they'll
say
tell
that-
you that they worked for it.
Say that word again.
Inherited it. What?
It's just a weird word, and you're putting a lot of emphasis on the extra ed. Inherited it.
Inherited it. I can't say it any differently.
Jeez. All right, next question is, if you could tame and keep one wild animal as a pet, what would it be?
Oh fuck, a platypus.
A platypus?
A platypus.
That's where your mind goes? A platypus?
Yes.
You're gonna have to explain.
Okay, so first of all, baby platypuses are called puggles.
Puggles like the dog?
Yes.
Oh.
So, but like also they're super weird and cool. Like they're venomous.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
They're mammals, but they lay eggs. Like they're like a combination of a beaver and a duck. Like I don't know. They're just weird and cute and cool, and I would totally I'm in love with platypuses. I think they're adorable. I want a platypus.
No, I'm trying to think of what would be an animal that would make a good pet. Like a fox, maybe? Like a red fox. It's kind of like a
that's
dog
fair.
anyways. But I have a problem with taming a wild animal and keeping it. It's like they should be wild. I mean, if you want to like care for one, but still let it like run free and do its thing,
Right.
but it comes to like get food and stuff like that, that's fine. But like keeping it at your house and like making it stay with you, I don't approve of that.
That's fair. I think my second option would be an albino king cobra.
Ew, no.
Yes. And I would name it Snakespeare.
Oh, God.
William Snakespeare.
I'm looking for a new co-host, so if anybody would like to, we're taking admissions.
No, we're not. You are stuck with me and you love me anyway, so
I'm gonna block her from the Zoom. All right, next question is, what makes you become an quote unquote official adult?
I used to think that you were an official adult when you paid taxes.
No.
But
I've been paying taxes since I was 16.
yeah. But now I don't know.
I don't think there's something that makes you an official adult. Like, there's adulting, like doing adult things.
Right.
Like when you are working on your own, paying your own bills, you're making your own choices.
Right.
Like,
you're not living with your parents.
Yeah. If you're in the mindset where you can do that and sustain, you're technically an adult.
Yeah.
I mean, legally it's 18 or 21, depending on where you look. So legally
Yeah.
it's that, but really, anytime you can take care of yourself and do it sustainably, is you're an adult.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Last question I have on here I pulled up is, which mentality made your daily life easier?
Which mentality makes my daily life easier?
Mm-hmm. So like me, like when I think about this, it's like I don't really like tomorrow when I go and test drive the car. If I don't test drive the car, I'm not out anything. Or if I don't buy the car and I don't get a new car, I'm not out anything. So it's just like whatever happens, happens. That's my mentality that I've taken in that instance, and in most instances, like whenever I'm in an airplane, it's like whatever happens, happens. I can't really do anything about it. Yeah,
Right.
it will suck, but it's like, what are you gonna do about it? Like that's the mentality, I think. Now there are things that I I am a control freak, so there are some things that I can't just have that mentality about. But things like going and test driving a car to see if I want to buy a new car, and then flying, it's like you can only do what you can.
Right. I think I wish I had that mentality. In that I wish that I let a lot more things go.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. It's something I'm working on. It's very difficult.
There is an Instagram account that I follow. It's Mana Saline, I think is how you say it. She puts a lot of like motivational quotes on her Instagram. And the one that I like just recently added to my story thing, it says, "Don't quit because something is hard. Quit because it doesn't align."
Yeah.
It's like that type of mentality. And a lot of her stuff, it's a good way to look at things. So I will include her link to her Instagram on this week's podcast. But that's what I would say. It's like, to me, you can only do what you have power to control. Everything else is kind of like whatever happens, happens. There's nothing you can do about it anyways.
Right.
To fix this. Hold
on. What is with that look?
Well, the stupid whenever I have this computer in the split screen mode, apparently when you open up a Google Doc, because I didn't have it open before we started, it doesn't like to put it in the it messes up, so I had to fix it. Okay. And then the Am I the Asshole that I have, or AITA. Am I the asshole for being weirded out by a man who waited 20 minutes for me to come out of the store so he could pull up next to my parking spot and ask if I was married?
And ask if you were what?
Married. So hold on, let me read through it. I'm 33, single. My lady friends almost all agree that this is creepy and scary. A majority of my male friends think it's bragging, think I'm bragging, was mean to judge the guy for trying, and or only am uncomfortable with it happening because the guy must have been ugly. Unfortunately, the conversation about this kind of left my hands, and I'm looking at losing friendships and some male friends over this. But the bare bones of it is this. I went into a fast food place, ordered my meal, finished it, and I took about 15 minutes. I went out to my car and rolled down my windows. It's hot. And checked a few texts. 5 minutes later, a man who I recognized as being ahead of me in line and who left with his food, didn't eat it in the store, then pulls up next to me in his car, rolls down his window, and asks if I'm married. This made me uncomfortable, but I just told him I'm married, and he was like, oh, well, okay, reversed and drove away. It shouldn't matter, but yeah, dude was attractive, so no, it's not. I'm not using a double standard here, but the whole situation was setting off alarm bells. What I didn't share with my friends was, 1, I was dressed like a manic, basically had to drop off my pets at the vet at 8 a.m. and woke up at 7:45. And 2, my car was full to the brim with stuff I was going to take to donate. My car basically looked like I was living out of it. But I didn't share this with my male or female friends. So while I'm providing context here, it's something that they had to something that I had to something that had to inform their reaction to what I shared. That does not make sense. In my opinion, it seems more likely to me a guy was feeling out if he could take advantage of someone down on their luck. There's unfortunately a lot of sex trafficking in my town. Anyways, I'm curious, am I the asshole for lying to the man and generally feeling like something nefarious was going on?
No,
I don't think so either.
no, because like, how many women okay, so every day nearly 3 women are killed, and like that's just by an intimate partner. That's not even talking about men that you say no to in like social contexts.
Yeah.
Who decide that they're entitled to you. So like,
I think maybe her male friends are the assholes because they're reacting in a way because they feel like it's kind of, you hurt his manhood. It's like, get over it. But I mean, he sounded like he didn't really care that much. He's just like, oh, okay, and then just left.
right. So like, I mean, at least he should get points. See, that's the scary thing though.
I don't think any harm was done.
It's like,
maybe I don't know where they were, but like maybe he saw her at the restaurant and like, or the fast food place, and then he went to another store and was like walking around in that store doing his thing in the store, and then came out and saw her come in and get in her car and thought, you know what, I'm gonna pull up and say something to her and see if she's interested. And then when he found out she wasn't interested, he just left.
yeah.
I don't think either person in this instance is the asshole. Yeah, he was maybe a little creepy for doing it that way. But I don't think either person is the asshole. I think it's just a weird situation, and
I think that's a weird situation, and I think it was totally fair that she felt it was weird and nefarious, because I also would have felt that way.
I mean, her feelings were valid, yes.
So but at least he left immediately.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he tried anything further.
Yeah.
So I don't think
it's
and
not
like you
said,
owe a stranger the truth either.
Yeah, and it's not like he said, oh, well, are you happily married? And then tried to move forward. He just said,
right,
oh,
and then
okay.
Kept trying.
And then just left. Like,
he was just like, oh, okay, and then bounced.
I don't see any issue in either thing. And you're right. You don't owe anyone the truth.
But like, the thing is is that like her male friends are allowing their fragile masculinity to feed their responses to things. Like she needs some new friends.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she needs to lose those friends. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, lose those friends.
All right. You want to go on to our turn of phrase section? So the one that we're going to talk about this week is "Cat got your tongue." And it means you asked to a person who is at a loss of words. So what do you think? Where do you think it's from?
Where do I think it's from?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Germany.
It's kind of a negative thing. So the origins, it says that, so there's two possible origins, it says. The English Navy used a whip called Cat o' Nine Tails for flogging. The pain was so severe that it caused the victim to stay quiet for a long time. And then another possible source could be from ancient Egypt, where liars and blasphemers' tongues were cut out and fed to the cats.
Yeesh.
Both are pretty negative, honestly.
I was like,
Jeez.
I was over here thinking it was gonna be from like some old German or something, but no.
But that's fun. I mean, it's interesting, but yeah, it's kind of negative. Jeez, didn't know it was going to take us to that place.
That's why I don't want to do either of those things. I'm good.
Well, ready to call it a podcast?
Yeah, I think it's a podcast.
Are you doing anything fun this weekend?
Not really. Nick and I aren't hanging out on Saturday like we usually do, because tomorrow is his and Horace's 7-year anniversary. So happy anniversary to them. So instead we're switching our date night. So we're gonna have date night on Sunday night. And I don't think we have anything really planned. We might watch a movie, but I don't know.
I don't have anything other than going and test driving that car tomorrow and possibly having a new car, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know.
Oof. New car.
I mean, it's a big purchase and it's scary, but we'll see. But I might not. It might just be a fun road trip in someone else's car.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to this week's episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. If you like the episode, please like, comment, follow, and subscribe, and leave a review in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, as this will help get the podcast out to more people and help us grow. Feel free to follow us on social media. Our Instagram, Twitter, and Threads is at Now About That. And if there is a specific topic or question you would like us to answer or discuss on the podcast, feel free to email us at nowaboutthatpod@gmail.com. Visit our website, www.nowaboutthatproductions.com, or give us a text or a call and leave us a voicemail at the phone number 765-557-4170. Again, we thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week, since this will be coming out on a Monday. And Sarah, enjoy your weekend.
Thanks. You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.